Hi everyone, Leah here from EurekaCrystalBeads.com with another beading video for you. Before I get started, just a quick reminder to go check out the rest of our channel. And if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and notification bell to always know when we're posting new content. So today what I'm going to be showing you is a fun, quick, and easy little wire wrapped bracelet using some chain and some fun crystals, perfectly themed for our upcoming Independence Day. So this is a nice thick silver plated Rolo chain, and what's nice is that it's really just the length of about a piece of scrap that you might have in your jewelry box, and I'm going to show you how to wire beads into it to add some extra length so that way it turns out to be a length that is wearable on your wrist. I also have here 6mm round crystals in sapphire, cyan, and opal, and it's 2 4mm clear AB crystals just for the ends near the clasp. I'm going to be using a silver plated toggle clasp by Tiara Cast, and we just started carrying a whole bunch of gorgeous toggles by Tiara Cast, and the quality is just absolutely stunning, so I'm really excited to work with this. I have some 22 gauge wire here. And then I have 3 tools. I have my round nose pliers, my chain nose pliers, and my cutters. And we will also link you below in the description box to all of these items on our website should you want to purchase them. So to start off, I have just this piece of scrap chain. And what I like to do when I have a length that I'm starting with that's just sort of a nondescript length that I know isn't going to be long enough is I like to start in the very center when I'm going to be wiring in some crystals. So I'm just going to figure out what center is by making these 2 end links meet up, and then you can just get a sense of where center is. Okay, we're going to snip off that center link here just like that. Go. Okay, get that out of the way. So now I'm going to wire in my first crystal, and if you want to see the wire working process broken down much more step by step, we do have another video and we'll link that as well, and that shows the steps of wire working much more slowly and broken down. So I am going to go just a little bit faster through this, but definitely check that video out if you have some trouble following along. So I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to make a bend, a 90-degree bend in my wire here, just like that. Now I'm going to use my round nose pliers and I'm going to make a circle here by bending it around, just like that. And you'll notice that we still have that 90-degree angle we started with, we just have a loop up in the corner. Now I'm going to go ahead and slide that link of chain into the loop that I just made. And now I'm going to wrap it shut. Now I'm going to use my chain nose pliers because they're flat inside and smooth. And I'm going to grab that loop from the outside and I'm going to start to wrap my wire. One wrap right after the other. So I end up with 3 nice clean wraps here. I'm going to take my cutters and snip off this little bit of wire that's still there. And use my chain nose pliers again to tuck in that little sharp edge that you can see is still sticking out. Just like that. And you might be wondering why I'm working with such a long piece of wire. And a little wire tip for you is that the longer the piece of wire you work with when you're doing a project like this, obviously you don't want to work with something so long that you can't manage it, but if you can manage a nice long piece of wire, you're actually going to save yourself wire because the only waste that I'm going to have is from the little tail that we snip off on the first side of the link. And the second tail that we snip off on the second side of the link is this long piece, and then we're starting right at the beginning again. So you're going to have 50% less waste by using nice long pieces of wire like this. So if you can manage it, it will save you some wire. I'm going to start with my first little crystal here, my opal, white opal 6mm round fire polish. Slide it all the way down. I'm going to use my chain nose pliers and grab that wire right above the bead. And you don't want your bead to be able to wiggle down at all. And I'm going to make a bend. And where I grabbed with my pliers has created a little space for us. And that is where the wrap is going to go. I'm going to use my round nose pliers, make another loop. Let it go all the way around the jaw of that pliers. And now we can wrap our loop shut. But before we wrap it shut, we need to make sure that we attach the other piece of chain. Just slide it all the way down. Right into that loop. Now I'll take the chain nose pliers and grab that loop from the outside, and we're gonna wrap, wrap, wrap. One wrap nice and neatly after the other, just like that. And now, as you can see, we're gonna cut the wire nice and close. And again, a little piece of this would have been a wasted piece of wire that would have had to have been put aside and not used really in another project because it's so small. But instead, it's part of the big piece that we're going to keep using. So, little tip for you. Tuck that little tail in. And now you can see we have a crystal that's wrapped into our chain. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap in a few more crystals, and we'll see you back here in a minute to finish up. Okay, so what I've gone ahead and done is wired in a bunch of the crystals in our lovely red, white, and blue pattern, and I cut the chain after each link with just 3 links left, so that way I have 3 links in between each one. Usually when I do chain link bracelets of some kind and I'm leaving links in between, I like to leave an odd number of links, and the reason for that is sometimes I like to go back and add some dangles or maybe even cut in and add an additional accent, and this way I'm still left with a link on either side of that. Or if I'd used 5 links, I'd have 2 links on either side of that by removing or wiring to that middle link. So I like odd numbers when it comes to this. So I've also gone ahead and wired on my toggle on one side, and I'm going to show you wiring on the toggle on the other side. So hanging off the other side after my last bead is I have the last 3 little links of chain here. And just like we've been doing, I'm going to make my bend with my my chain nose pliers. Make my loop with my round nose, just like this. I'm going to link it right to that end piece of chain. And then use my chain nose to get in there and wrap it shut. Snip off the little end. Tuck in that little sharp edge that's left, just like this. And now my final little bicone crystal here in crystal AB is going to go on the end, just like that. I'm going to make my bend here. Make my circle, make my little loop. And then, before I wrap it shut, of course, I'm going to go ahead and add my toggle clasp, the bar side. Just slide it right down into that loop. And then now we're going to wrap that little puppy shut. Get a few wraps in there, just like this. Snip off the wire. Tuck in that little sharp edge, which is so important, especially on all jewelry, but especially on a bracelet, because you don't want it to snag on clothing or something like that. So now we have this adorable little bracelet. And I've actually still come across people who haven't really used toggle clasps before, and toggles are great because they're really easy to put on yourself. So I'm really a big fan of a toggle clasp. So that is the end of the project, folks. So I Hope you enjoyed watching it. Make sure to head on over to EurekaCrystalBeads.com and you'll be able to check out all of the materials that were used to make this project. And hopefully we can supply any of the other beading and jewelry needs that you have as well. Bye.